Mariah Carey's mom and her sister died on the same day this week. This is crazy. Mariah Carey has come out saying that she is heartbroken. And it's interesting. She had a really complicated relationship with both her mother and her sister throughout her life, but did not expect, obviously, for them to die on the same day.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast, Raw Rundown, Labor Day edition. Hope you guys had a great summer. The summer doesn't end here for me. I just keep the summer going, Dax. I want to have a good time. I want to keep the momentum. As long as the weather's good, I am good. This summer, I keep them moving. I'm actually.
I feel you, dude. I feel you.
I'm drinking a beer as we record this podcast.
I am drinking a Sprite.
Yeah, I'm not drinking a beer.
I'm sorry. I'm drinking a carbonated drink because the people that have a green and yellow label don't pay us.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm drinking a beer because I have a problem. No, I was running up to get a drink and I saw a beer. I was like, I'm gonna have a beer while I do the podcast today. Why not? Nice. Right? It's summer.
I'm glad you're having a beer, enjoying life, Adam.
I'm trying to enjoy life. I'm going to be honest with you, Dax. Crazy week in entertainment news. Good week. Sometimes I do this podcast when we do the list. It's not so great stories. It's out of my control. It's some days, some weeks are boring. This week is
you're not breaking. You're not making all the celebrities do crazy shit so that we have a good week.
I wish I had
that would help out with our Raw Rundown.
That would be great. However, this week, which is supposedly and usually a terrible week for entertainment news because it's like the last week of summer, people are sort of journalists aren't really working too hard. In this situation, a lot of stories came out this week. A lot of people are trying to fight to be the top 10 stories of the week, but it's a good week in entertainment news, so I'm excited to get to today's countdown. If you're first time listening to the Raw Rundown, we give you the top 10 stories of the week. We pick the list by data. It goes by Google search, and lastly goes by our personal opinion. But like every single major news outlet, it goes by the data, what people are clicking on. With that said, in the middle of the week, Dax and I usually release a conversation between the two of us. Sometimes we talk to a celebrity. Sometimes we talk to a celebrity journalist. We talk to all different people. This past week, we talked to Dax was away, but I talked to the guy who created the E! Network, which was an interesting interview. The guy made a ton of money off it. I mean, he created a network. Now he's just like him, paid a lot of money to consult, but that's where the money is. All right, Dax, how you doing? You doing well?
I'm doing great. I've had a nice week. I'm looking forward to the long weekend. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I think it's just going to be a lot of pool time and hang out and nothing crazy. I'll tell you that much.
Good on you. All right, before we get to the Raw Rundown, because I want to get to it because there's so much to get into. But before we get to it, we read your reviews. We read your reviews. That's how much we love them. Dax, do you have a read ready for us?
I do. And it says, this is from Love Bin, 5 stars. And it says, my favorite podcast. I can't wait for a new episode every week. I wish there was a new episode every day. Love the stories and interviews. Love you guys. Well, thanks, Love Bean.
Very nice. Very sweet.
Appreciate it.
Very sweet.
Unfortunately, we can't do an episode every day. It's a lot of work. People don't realize how much work goes into a podcast and the editing and the research and all the things.
Sometimes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sometimes when we do this podcast, we try to make it as late as possible because it needs to be edited and get ready. So news is always changing. It's hard to do the Raw Rundown and be so specific because we could release the episode and 20 minutes before the episode comes out, a news story breaks. So it's hard to kind of... And
it's happened quite a bit. And we've gotten yelled at by people. Like, we miss a celebrity death because they died on... Friday morning at 1:05 a.m. and then it's not in the rundown that released at 1 a.m. It's like, how did you guys skip this person's death? And I'm like, well, there's got to be editing time in there. We try, we do our best. We record as late as we possibly can on, a Thursday or whenever we can get it, and we try. So if we miss a story, we apologize, but I feel like we've got them all handled right now.
This one, I knock on wood, so far we should be good. All right, Dax, so let's get to the Raw rundown, starting with number 10.
So here's something I didn't know, but Tori Spelling and Brian Austin Green did not speak or have a friendship for 18 years after ending 90210, which is crazy to me because if you ever watched the show, they were a love interest. They ended up getting married at the very end of the series finale. So for them to not speak was a really big deal. But basically, Tori showed up on the Oldish podcast, which is Brian Austin Green's podcast. He's on there with Randy Spelling, which is Tori's brother, and Sharna Burgess, his wife. And they have got this podcast, and they brought Tori on to talk about this rift that they had for years and years and years. And they kind of blamed their old partners on it. I guess Tori was dating a guy back in the day, and right after the series ended, Brian went to go hang out at her house and didn't really get much response from her, and he saw her at a party and she kind of avoided him, and come to find out that it was more about her relationship at the time, that she felt like she kind of lost who she was in the relationship. She didn't know who she had to find her way back to Tori. And she's admitted that has happened numerous times throughout her life, that she would get into a relationship and then fall down this trap of kind of losing herself in the relationship and then have to find her way back out over and over and over again. But apparently, it was with her fellow co-star, Vincent Young. That was the guy's name that she was dating at the time. And I don't know if he just didn't like Brian or what the case was, but I think both of them kind of felt this weird energy from each other, Brian and Tori. And because they had kind of gone a certain amount of time without talking to each other, all communication just stopped for 18 years. And you got to remember, these two were best friends on the show back in the day when they were filming. They were actually a love interest of each other. She's actually said that in the past, that Brian was one of her first loves, and then to not talk to him for such a long time was really interesting. But he was dating Vanessa Marcel at the time, and I guess Tori didn't really like her, didn't like the energy she was putting off, and couldn't really go up and tell him that she wasn't a fan. So I guess because of the dynamics of both of them dating other people that the other one maybe didn't approve of or whatever, it pushed the two of them apart for a long time. And I think they are pretty sad because now they've rekindled their friends once again, and all is good. But it's very interesting listen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see them kind of, because they were the couple. They were together on Beverly Hills 90210. So yeah, it's nice to just see them together. Know what I always fall for, Dax? Those if you anytime a website has remember this person and you want to see whether they're at now, I always Google I go down that black hole, whatever you call it, and just look at all those where are they now. Sometimes I'll even look up random movies and look up to see where those celebrities are, like the cast of Three Ninjas. Great movie. I always try to find out where those people are now, what they look like. I don't know why I just.
You wouldn't have to do. That's kind of random that came out because I feel like what Tori and Brian look like. They haven't gone anywhere in the last 30 years.
But it's interesting to see what they look like together when when they're standing next to each other. You can kind of see them together. You know what's so funny, Dex? Justin Foley, one of our past guests, buddy of mine, hits me up this past week and is like, "Dude, I have my friend owns the Beverly Hills 90210 beach condo. Do you know where that is?"
What?
Yeah,
yes,
his friend
the one
owns
right on the beach. The white one.
And I guess he puts it on Airbnb, and he just does that on the side. But no one was renting it this weekend, so he gave it to his friend, his a buddy. So do you want to come over and just hang out for the weekend? So Foley was just hanging out in the beach condo all weekend. I'm like, that's so kind of cool.
That is cool. That's a fun one.
Should we do an episode from there?
All right.
We should do an episode with Brian Austin Green there.
That would be fun. He'd
be kind of cool.
Be down for it.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how we stumble on.
I mean, we still need Tori Spelling.
That's true. That's true.
Tori is still like our number one that we've been wanting to get for a very long time, and she still hasn't come on the podcast. And we've screamed her name 17 times from the rooftop saying we want Tori on. I mean, Tori, if we went to the beach house, would you come join us? Would that be enticing enough for you to come join us for a podcast?
Wow, that'd be pretty cool. But again, we said before, the last time we reached out for Tori, she wanted to get paid. We're like, really? Yep. Come on, can you just come on just to come on?
Like, that's when we were like,
nobody's making money here. No, yeah, there's no unless you're a caller daddy, no podcast is making money. So what are we doing here? All right, Dax, number 9.
One of the Dancing with the Stars pro dancers just got arrested for domestic violence. So if you watch Dancing with the Stars, you know Artem. He has been one of the main dancers on that show for a very long time. Well, he got arrested up in Napa, California for domestic battery. TMZ posted this story. He was booked into Napa County Jail on Thursday morning for felony domestic violence charge, and that's at least according to what the online jail records say. It was unclear what led to the arrest or the circumstances, but it is interesting that Nikki Garcia, his wife, WWE star, formerly Nikki Bella, but doesn't the WWE own the last name Bella essentially at this time? She's Nikki Garcia.
Yeah, she's Nikki Garcia, and that's how she goes by it publicly now. She changed it a few months, her and her sister, because WWE owns Nikki Bella, correct?
So anyway, she had posted an IG saying that she was also in Napa. So it seems to be that it could be potentially between the two of them. Maybe by the time this airs, there'll be some more information, but we know that they were celebrating their wedding anniversary earlier in the week. They got hitched back in 2022 after they had met on Dancing with the Stars and started up a relationship. They do have one kid together who's a 4-year-old Mateo. And they do have a house up there in Napa. And I can tell you that the Napa County Sheriff's Office told TMZ that deputies responded to a domestic violence call at a location in the town Yountville shortly before 10 a.m. on Thursday. The arrest was made there on the scenes and injuries were reportedly involved. The victim in the case has asked for total confidentiality, and that is what the sheriff's rep said. So the investigation remains ongoing. I'm sure we'll be getting some more details. Even though the person asked for confidentiality, you know how it works. Someone will end up saying something.
Yeah, Nikki's eventually going to be asked about it, and depends how truthful she wants to be, but I can imagine Nikki will get pretty truthful with this. Let me ask you, Dax. So before Artem, Nikki was with Artem. She was with John Cena. John Cena was engaged to her. They broke off the engagement. John Cena's moved on. She's moved on. They're both married to different people now. Should John Cena, for PR reasons, reach out to her and see if she's okay? Or not even PR reasons.
No.
Just let it be. Just
weird.
Move on.
That's weird. Yeah, I mean, would you reach out to an ex just because they were involved in something? No.
But you know what? It's one of those things where...
And I feel like he looks thirsty then.
He could look thirsty, but I don't think it's like a win for PR reasons. It's like, will it make you look bad that you didn't reach out when your ex-fiance got potentially, allegedly abused, and you didn't reach out to see if she's okay? So for your career,
you're not like, if you have a relationship with them still, then that's one thing. But I don't think he is still like talking to her on a regular basis. So why should he even hit her up?
Fair enough. But this story, I mean, I went on my social media before. It's blown up on the algorithm. Everyone's talking about this. I think people are curious. Did he physically assault Nikki? Because that's just not out there yet. We don't know who the person was, domestic abuse, but was it the wife? Was it his wife? Was it his children? We don't know. We don't know.
We have no idea.
I mean, but good luck. I mean, I can imagine from this, it's going to be tough for ABC to take you back on the show after this. They take stuff like this very serious. So
they get super serious. Yeah.
Disney, man, that's bad stuff. Dax, and just again, we're going to keep hearing more information regarding this. I'm curious to see who was involved in this sad story. Dax, number 8.
Number 8, Joey Lawrence breaking his silence on his divorce from Samantha Cope. and denying his alleged affair with his co-star Melinda Alves. That story has been going around a lot this week. People talking about, oh, well, he just broke up with his wife because the co-star on his latest movie sucked in for Christmas. It seems like they were getting super close. And Joey has come out and he's like, no. He said, he posted it on, I think it was IG, with a deep sense of responsibility, I want to respond to the recent allegations surrounding my personal life, including my divorce and the claims of an affair with Melinda Alves. He said, Melinda and I became close friends, and I did not have a physical relationship with her while filming the movie Socked In for Christmas. These rumors are false. Our bond was based on shared experiences and an understanding of the challenges we were both facing in our personal lives. He went on to claim that the marriage was already deeply troubled by the time that he met Alves, and he said he was clinging on to the hope that he could save his relationship, and in his heart he knew it was beyond saving. He went on to say, my short-lived marriage was fraught with difficulties from the beginning. Our differences became insurmountable. And she basically, Melinda Alves, also wrote something very similar, that she's a super private person, but these allegations, blah, 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 that they're not true. Here's the only weird thing. If you've been following the story,
Wait,
go ahead.
I was going to say the weird thing I thought was in his statement saying during filming, we did not have a physical relationship. So
afterwards, there could have been a physical relationship. Is that what you're getting
Correct.
to?
Yes.
So that's where it gets interesting, because all these stories come out, everyone's picking up his response, and then TMZ gets their hands on some videos. And these videos were taken, I want to say, 1 week after the filing of the separation from his wife. And it's the two of them. It's him and Melinda Alves hitting the dance floor. And this is at the Anejo Cantina and Grill. It's a Mexican food restaurant in Sherman Oaks. It was shot back in June. And they look like they are super into each other, dancing on the dance floor, like basically grinding on each other, even though it's like country music or whatever. But they're very close, snuggled up, hugging all over each other. And according to some people that were there, was saying that, like an eyewitness was saying that they kissed, they danced, they ate, they drank throughout the night. It was just the two of them. There was not a big group of friends. It was a pretty romantic date night, which goes against everything that the two of them just put out there publicly, saying that they were just friends, sharing similar situations together. So I had one story to tell before this, and now I feel like my mind has changed a little bit since seeing this video. What are your thoughts?
I just think the statement he said, like I said, the statement he said was very vague. I think something happened. Do I know for sure? No, but the way he kind of worded that thing, it just came out weird. She is also Joey's ex-wife, or soon to be ex-wife, is very vocal, I guess, on social media about she's just not like something went down. Yeah. Joey's saying nothing happened, but I mean, now this video comes out from a while back, and based on his statement, it's tricky. It's wordplay, and I think that's where the argument is. Well, no, we didn't hook up while filming. Afterwards, we kind of developed a relationship. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
We had an emotional connection. Yeah, we had emotional connection while filming, but we had a physical connection after. Like, okay, semantics, but listen, we don't really know. We weren't there. We weren't in their bedroom, so we don't know.
I guess, his ex-wife is angry and she's upset, which I guess she should be. And I think everyone's upset. I think this is the first time and maybe the only time we ever have Joey Lawrence in the top 10 stories of the week. So, I mean, yeah, dude, you ever see that guy in person? You ever see Joey Lawrence in person?
I've seen his eyebrows in person.
Yeah. Nice guy. But it's just like, you're kind of like, whoa, Joey Lawrence. Because Joey Lawrence was so big at one point. Do you remember how he was big,
massively famous when we were younger. Massively
but it was timing famous. Too. Those Teen Bop magazines came out. They were huge. People I don't think people realize how big Joey Lawrence was. I mean, but you can say about generational. Well, Donny Osmond, all the list goes on and on for those. But for me,
all right, we've already talked too long. Can we move on?
Joey fucking Lawrence, number 7.
Brittany Cartwright. Well, actually, let's start this where there's a divorce on the Valley, and I think everyone saw this coming. Brittany Cartwright and Jax Taylor are officially ending their marriage. Brittany served him with divorce papers. By the way, we are hearing on camera while they were filming the Valley. At least TMZ said that little incident happened, that they cut it all on tape, which I'm not surprised at all. But basically, she had confirmed to Us Weekly that she was filing for divorce from Taylor. And this is what happened on Tuesday, August 27th, after 5 years of marriage. And she's ready for her next era. And she said basically she's getting her sparkle back. And a lot of people came to post on that IG and say, good job, Rachel Lindsay from The Bachelorette and Nia Sanchez and Sheena Shea, and all these people are commenting and saying, get it, girl. And I, wish her the best of luck. It was interesting. He is fresh out of treatment. He had gone away for quite some time to get some treatment on himself. He's talked about a lot of the mental struggles that he deals with. But I think, wow, that's a hard way to come out of treatment and then get served with divorce paper. But I can't imagine it would have been a big surprise, because that could be something that sets someone off pretty quickly. So I have to imagine he knew it was coming, or, they had planned it out, because it's good for drama for a TV show. But at the end of the day, still sad, because they have a young child together, and, you don't want the child to grow up with, parents in separate houses. That happens all the time, but you want relationships to work out for the kids.
Yes, you want people to be happy. She's got to do what's best for her. My prediction is Brittany gets her own show. It's like Brittany dating, and she goes on dates. It's not gonna be like The Bachelor, but she'll do some sort of dating show.
But what a stab to the heart. Can you imagine being Jax and then you have to watch your ex go on dates on television?
Yeah, I mean, I think
that sucks.
I think I was almost shocked when they ended up together. I don't know. I thought for some reason Jax was that show, those people were gonna end up different. I thought Stassi was gonna end up differently. By the way, of all those people I've met at that show, Stassi was like the unfriendliest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's not warm at all. Very pretty, but not
Why?
Not warm.
What happened?
Just like cold, and I was like shocked. I was like, you really, like, all your other people on the show are like usually really nice. It's just how it is. And I just remember her being super cold, and she's with her boyfriend or her husband. He's now husband. I was just like kind of shocked. Like, I was like, hey, you're supposed to be nice. And she just wasn't. Yeah, random, but very pretty in person. Say that I talked about this. Dax, number 6.
I mean, no. I want to throw one extra in here, because depressing stories, and I like to lighten it up a little bit with some positive stuff. This did not make the rundown as a full number, but I thought it was interesting. Justin Theroux got engaged. Jennifer Aniston's ex got engaged to an actress named Nicole Bryden Bloom, and apparently proposed to his girlfriend Nicole in Italy, and they were all out there because of the big Beetlejuice what is
Premiere?
it, like film festival? It Cannes? What are they out there for? Is it the Cannes Film Festival?
I don't know if it's Cannes. It's one of these film festivals, but there's always a
the Venice Film Festival. That's what it was. The Venice Film Festival was promoting it, and so the whole cast was out there. I saw a bunch of photos of them, but apparently he got down on one knee and asked her to marry him, and yeah. So anyway, not too exciting. Other than that, he was married to Jennifer Aniston from 2015 to 2018, and that was a big story that I broke, by the way, at TMZ.
That they broke up?
No, that him and Jen had a secret wedding. There was it was covered up as a birthday party back in the day. So they had all these people showing up. It was like her birthday or his birthday, something like that. And so there were all these trucks and cars, and it was one of the other TMZ employees got the initial tip, and we were trying to prove, is this in fact a wedding or a wedding disguised as a birthday? And I got photos of the pastor coming out the back door holding the Bible that confirmed that it was in fact a wedding. And broke that
Wow.
story.
So did you send a photog there to do it, or how did you actually do it?
I may have.
You little devil, you. Now, guess what? Now you're not going to get invited to this wedding. Justin Theroux is like, dude, you ruined my first wedding. I'm not going to have you do this one. That's a good story, though. That's cool.
It was a huge story.
Do you know how the person got the tip that there was possibly a
No, I
wedding?
don't know.
You know, they just heard the grapevine?
No. Yeah. It was just a tip that came out and had to go into it, but getting
Big
that
tip.
first photo was like, boom.
Yeah.
Solid. Locked it down.
Very cool. Very cool. I enjoy that story. Dax, number 6.
So there's been a lot of talk about Ben Affleck dating a new woman post Jennifer Lopez and their big divorce that just got announced. So there's been stories going around that Ben Affleck is dating Kick Kennedy, and his rep came out and said there is absolutely no truth to any of it. Kit Kennedy is actually Robert Kennedy's daughter, and so that's kind of why it got so much news so quickly. She's one of his 6 children, and she was romantically linked to Paul Simon's son, Harper Simon. She's dated billionaire banking heir Matthew Mellon. So she's like in the circle in Hollywood, but Ben's people are like, listen, there's no truth to it. I don't even know if they know each other. I don't know how this rumor got started. People are saying that they're spending a lot of time together, but apparently, according to the rep, that is not true. Jennifer has been putting up sources close to her has been saying that, she wanted to make the relationship work out, but he wasn't really putting in the time or the effort. And she's really sad to have to finally say goodbye to this relationship. I don't know what is true and what is not in this anymore. But I do feel like they're getting max publicity out of it. Holy moly.
Yeah. You're right. A lot of publicity on this. I first time I saw the girl, I saw a photo, very pretty girl, but I guess it was just rumors. There's no truth to it. I'd be shocked if it was true. I mean, they just got divorced. I mean, we knew that they were kind of living separate.
They're not even divorced. They're separated at this point. They're estranged. They're not even divorced. They're just paperwork has been filed.
I think Ben is smart enough to know to not do something like that so soon. How that rumor started, I don't know. Good rumor. Very pretty girl. People know she is now. If it was her team who leaked it or someone in her circle that leaked the story. But pretty girl. Just a rumor, though.
The funniest thing that I've seen so far, and I sent it to you, was a photo of Pete Davidson and Ben Affleck walking in New York, probably after like a Saturday Night Live taping, and everyone's like, "No, Pete Davidson landed Ben Affleck now." Because every time someone like gets a divorce or whatever, they end up with Pete Davidson. It makes me laugh.
Dax, number 5.
Oasis. They are finally reuniting after all these years. For all those people that were huge Oasis fans and had to see them split apart, the two brothers, they are coming back together, and they are going to be doing a tour, which is huge. Obviously, they had the big hits like Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger, and they broke off because there was a huge fight between Liam and Noel Gallagher, and they just couldn't get along. There were rumors of them like getting in physical altercations backstage. Well, it looks like they're going to be doing a 14-date tour all over Europe, essentially hitting up Wales and England, Scotland, Ireland, and it'll be July and August. And this is a big deal. I mean, I like a couple of their songs, but I'm not like a huge Oasis fan by any means. But I do think it's cool when you have a band reunite after so many years apart. I mean, they've been singing Oasis songs separately for many, many years, but to have them on stage together, I think they will have a lot of sold out shows, and they're not going to televise it or anything like that. So you would have to go to see it in person. You'll probably see a lot of clips on social media, but nevertheless, I think Oasis fans are going to be over the moon.
Yeah. So when that news broke, I kind of like went on my Spotify and tried to look up Oasis music. I knew about a handful of songs, like legit a handful. Other than that, I wasn't the biggest. I was like, all right, there. I don't know. People like, I don't know. I guess people really like them. Maybe their music came out during a certain period. These guys hated each other. Like they did not like.
Do
each
you
other.
remember? There was like one famous quote that Noel had said. He goes, "People will write and say what they like, but I simply could not go on working with Liam a day longer." Like, you have to really hate your brother to be like, I can't even hang it. Even though the money's flowing in, even though we have millions of fans, even though we're successful together, like being on stage with this person makes me want to stab myself. Like, dang, they hated each other.
Yeah. No, these guys hated each other. How I can't wait for the first interview to find out how they eventually came together and how they kind of fix it to kind of have a working relationship. Maybe there's a different relationship there, but they. So I'm
Do you
curious.
think it's just at like Christmas, the parents are like, "Shut your two yapping mouths. Get back together. Get out
money?
there."
Listen, these guys know that there's a lot of money on the table, and take advantage of it while you still got it to do it because your fans are kind of getting older too, and they're just kind of moving on. So money talks, and they know there's a lot of money there. So, but I would love to see a conversation between the two and figure out how they're able to work it together. I'd love to see a camera. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of documentary to show them like rehearsing. You want to see how they are when they first see each other. I'm sure they've already saw each other or had some sort of conversation. So how did even a conversation come about? I miss rock in the 90s, man. Rock in the 90s was so much fun with all the feuds and fights with everyone. Courtney Love fighting with Dave Grohl. Like, it was just so great that all the fights in rock and roll during that time. Wasn't
It's different
Is
because,
that just me or is that?
No, it was fun time, but we still have it. It's just everything was videotaped now. So I think what makes those ones more exciting is half of it is in your brain. You hear about the fight in the reports, but like you didn't see video of it. So you've made this fight so much bigger and crazier in your head than it probably really even was. And that became like legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could be. You could be right on that. So that's why it's kind of a legendary kind of feud between the two brothers. Dax, number 4.
One of the former Real Housewives stars is in big trouble. So Tom Girardi, you know him from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He is gotten in a lot of trouble. We actually have done a whole episode on the timeline of Tom Girardi and stealing millions from his clients. Well, he has now been convicted in a Los Angeles County court of embezzling tens of millions of dollars from clients, including several with severe physical injuries and families of people who were killed in accidents. And so, yeah, this is a big deal. We've talked about it. Who did we have on? I'm like, why am I blanking on? Chris Hansen. That's right. Chris Hansen was doing a whole documentary or a podcast documenting everything, the timeline, talking to the whistleblower, all that stuff. But now it went to court and it was a 13-day trial. And basically they had a full day of deliberations and the federal jury in Los Angeles found him, Tom Girardi, guilty of 4 counts of wire fraud. And you remember Tom Girardi is he was the guy for a long time. He was like the hero of people who needed, to fight back against big companies, big corporations. The whole Aaron Brockovich movie was literally about him and his firm. And people said, no, this guy was not Robin Hood. He was actually the anti-Robin Hood who would get the money, but then keep it for himself. And he would tell the victims, oh, sorry, it's out of my hands. We're waiting for stuff to be paid, or they haven't sent the money over, when in fact he was using that money to fuel his lifestyle. And so, yeah, he is now finally having to reap the effects of being a dickbag and stealing everyone's money. So he could face as much as 80 years in prison at his sentencing, which is scheduled for December. A judge has allowed him to be free until then. But yeah, this is also, by the way, he's also facing federal wire charges in Chicago, where he's accused of stealing $3 million from family members of victims of a 2018 Lion Air crash that killed 189 people. So Not a good guy, but Erica Jane, remember, she definitely distanced herself from him and tried to say, oh, I didn't know any of this money was coming from bad sources. I just thought he was a successful lawyer.
Yeah, this guy, I'll be surprised if he makes it to jail. I could see them. I mean, Dex, you tell me that he's so old and they're going to say he has health issues that it's not even worth putting in a jail, that he has to basically live.
Well, they tried to pull that with the court hearing too. They said, oh, he's got Alzheimer's. He's not healthy enough to even stand trial. And the judge was like, yeah, he's fine. Nope, get him into trial. And so they may try to pull that as well for prison, but if the judge feels like he is healthy enough, then he'll go face his time behind bars.
I'm surprised he got away with what he did for so long. I think, to me, that's what shocked me the most. Weird stuff. Dax, number 3.
One of the former Baywatch stars admitting to sniffing underwear. So Jeremy Jackson, you know him as Hobie from the Baywatch series back in the day. He was basically David Hasselhoff's son on the show, Mitch Buchanan's son on the show, saying that he would sneak around when he was younger, grab the underwear or used bathing suits from the women off set and sniff the crotches. And he's actually admitting to that these days, which is wild. He said this in the After Baywatch Moment in the Sun documentary that is now playing on Hulu, that this is what he would do. He would sneak into the trailers, and when everyone would go home for the day, and smell their bathing suits. And he basically said that I had smelled every blank on Baywatch. And that is disgusting. Why would he admit to that even? That's awful.
I can't imagine, though, he's actually being serious. Do you believe him? It's fun. It's a funny line to say. You know, I know it sounds gross, but
why is it funny? It's gross. You look like a creep.
I can't imagine him that being true.
So apparently the people behind the documentary ended up telling Nicole Eggert, because she was also filming this documentary, and he basically said that hers were like his favorite to sniff. And she said, and she basically said, yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me at all, knowing who he was. And she laughed it off. And I'm thinking, what reality am I living in right now that the documentary person is telling her, by the way, this kid used to sniff your used bathing suits, and you're okay with it? I don't know. I feel like most women would feel like super violated, even being 20 years, 30 years or whatever past. That's still creepy.
Yeah. I can't believe this. People jumped on this. People clicked on this story so much. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
What do you mean? I mean, I totally understand why people clicked on it, because
it's just so ridiculous, and I don't believe him. I think he thought it was funny, and they're going to use. I think he thought it was a funny line to say, and the documentary people are throwing gas on this line to bring attention to the documentary.
But remember, the guy was 10 years old when that show started filming. He literally had to go through puberty while filming this show. You do dumb stuff when you're a kid growing up, and there's a total possibility that this was some of the dumb crap that he did growing up in the spotlight, while everything's going down.
Again, I just think
remember
the production company throwing gas on the story.
He also had a crystal meth addiction while filming the series, and he admits that. He's like, I remember filming the show, and David Hasselhoff is like, what are you smoking, pot or something? And he's like, definitely not pot, so he had some serious issues. He was not a good kid behind the scenes. He was struggling with a lot of stuff in his life. So I don't know.
Were you a Baywatch guy?
I loved Baywatch, but
me too.
It was when I was younger, this was the biggest show on the planet too.
Baywatch was
everyone watched Baywatch. I don't know, it was huge.
I don't know why it was so good, but it's still, even when I watch it now, good. That's what made it good. It wasn't good that it was good. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't a good show, but it was good. It was the only show where these lifeguards go underwater and there's no algae. The water's clean. There's like red rocks underneath the ocean, and then they're like open their eyes swimming in the Pacific Ocean, which is impossible.
When that was always funny part because you could tell this is like in a fish tank.
Yeah,
like rocks at the bottom. We don't have rocks at the bottom here in the ocean when you run out in Malibu. It's sand. But you can't film in sandy water. Like you move your foot once and it's going to get all cloudy. Well, that's not good for cameras. So they put rocks on the bottom, and it didn't look like the ocean at all. But it was interesting. Even David Hasselhoff has said during this, he was like, listen, the show, it really wasn't good, but we made it good because we had passion. And I think a lot of people have had that same, like, it became a cult classic. It wasn't good acting. It wasn't great television, but it hit a cult audience at the time, and everyone fell in love with it.
It was effortless TV. Effortless. You didn't have to really put a lot of energy into it, but you enjoyed it. Dax, number 2.
Mariah Carey's mom and her sister died on the same day this week. This is crazy. Mariah Carey has come out saying that she is heartbroken. And it's interesting. She had a really complicated relationship with both her mother and her sister throughout her life, but did not expect, obviously, for them to die on the same day. She put up a statement saying, "My heart is broken that I've lost my mother this past weekend. Sadly, in a tragic turn of events, my sister lost her life on the same day." She said that she was blessed that she was able to spend the last week with her mother before she passed, and she appreciates everyone's love and support and respect for her privacy during this impossible time. And Mariah has been very open about the struggle to connect with her mom. She was open about it in her memoir. Basically just saying, look, there's been many aspects of her life, my journey with my mother, that has been full of contradictions and competing realities. I've never been black and white. It's been a whole rainbow of emotions. And she said her relationship is a prickly, this is her talking about her relationship with her mom, that it is a prickly rope of pride, pain, shame, gratitude, jealousy, admiration, and disappointment. And so, again, and then her and her sister were estranged for many, many years. Her and her brother estranged for many, many years. So it just seems like there was a really difficult upbringing in that house, with all of them kind of breaking apart. And I don't know if that is in part with Mariah's super, super success and money and fame and all of that, or if this childhood was horrendous. I know that her sister had, I want to say, sued. If I can remember correctly, she had sued her mother for mental stress or something, because when she was younger, her mom would take her to some satanic church and men would abuse her. I don't, it was a very weird story, but I remember that coming out years ago. And so clearly it wasn't the easiest childhood.
Yeah, no, it wasn't easy for her. A lot of people, it's a sad situation for your mother and sister to die on the same day. I don't think she wasn't. Yeah, obviously she had an interesting, unique relationship with the two. Sad day for Mariah Carey. Yeah, that's a day you won't forget.
No kidding, man.
That's her.
Kidding.
That's I don't know. I don't even like talking about that story. It's just sad. I don't care about what kind of relationship she had. Sad day for Mariah Carey. Dax, the number 1 story of the week.
Armie Hammer having to sell his beloved truck. Yes, I know it is a random story, but this story is getting so much attention because he has been talking about being broke. He has been talking about the fact that his career has been smashed after the whole cannibal scandal, and that he now cannot afford gas, and that this truck was costing him $500 worth of gas, and he just can't afford it anymore. He's going to go convert over to a hybrid. But I kind of feel him. Gas is a hell expensive here in California. And he is now living a single life, and he doesn't have his career, and he doesn't have everything that he used to have. And so he's downscaling, and he's living in an apartment. And I think he's just being really honest with a lot of people. You know, he did that. Who was it? With Bill Maher?
Bill Maher.
Didn't he have a whole
great interview
with Bill Maher? Talking about all the post-cannibal scandal stuff that happened to him, and how he's really struggling, and he lost his whole career and his family and his kids, everything through it. And most people, I feel like, would be shying away from the things that he's talking about, and he's not shying away from it. He is owning up to, he's done some shitty things. He cheated on his wife. He had affairs, all kinds of stuff that I think he greatly feels terrible about and regrets. But it's now come back to bite him in the ass, you know?
Yeah. I suggest people listen to his interview on Bill Maher. I thought it was a really good interview, really interesting interview. I think there's not much for me to say. He doesn't defend all his actions. He's like, listen, I did everything they said with that said, a lot of things were taken out of context. He also says that he didn't really carve his initials into someone. There was no blood. It was like very light. They're sort of role playing. He says he didn't do anything illegal. There was safe words. They were kind of like doing some fantasy stuff. It's going to be a tough road back. I think him still putting this stuff out is still making himself newsworthy, where he can't be treated as an actor because he's making himself he's making himself into a character, a Hollywood character. I feel bad do you feel bad for him, Dex?
Well, it's funny as I tuned out because all I was thinking about is asking you if when you get it on, do you talk about eating people's ribs and stuff? It's like a kink.
That's not my kink. That is not my kink. But some people, that is not my kink.
I'm just thinking of like taking it out of context. I'm like, yeah. Hey,
but you don't hear what the girl is saying.
I want to eat your eyeball.
Yes. But I do think it was just all of it. You don't hear what she says. And I thought his side was pretty interesting. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying I thought it was before I'm able to kind of say this guy is a cannibal, I don't think he was a cannibal. I think he just said stuff that was taken.
Kinky weirdness.
It was definitely weird. It's not my thing, but yeah,
well, that's because you haven't tried ribs. But maybe once you try ribs, you won't go back.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's no longer... I wonder what he's in Drive in L.A. I wonder if we can even get him on the podcast at this point. Would you have him on the podcast, or do you think he said everything?
I mean, I feel like we can always get more out of people.
Let me reach out. You know what, Steppers? He probably isn't... I wonder if he's booking all his own interviews now. It doesn't even matter. He's just doing everything himself.
Yeah, but if he's flat broke, he's going to be like, hey, I need some money for this interview. And we're like, hey, we're flat broke too. So
he's like, hey, can you pay for my gas?
Three broke people coming together.
Yeah, where he's like, hey, can you pay for my gas to come do the interview? Hey, dude, we're going to make it easy. You don't have to, you can do it from your house, from your apartment. You just Skype in. And he'll be like, well, will you pay my Wi-Fi for the month? And like, dude, now you're back. Now it's getting weird.
But yes, we will pay for your Wi-Fi for a month.
We will for 1 month. We'll pay for your Wi-Fi as long as it's $30 at the most. All right, guys, that is the top 10 stories of the week. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on Red Coral, maybe if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching on YouTube. Give us a review, please. Go wherever you look at your podcast. Even if it's Red Coral, to YouTube, to Spotify, to iTunes. Give us a review, 5 stars, few kind words. We'll read your review live on air. Follow our private Facebook group called Off the Record. It's a really fun community. Follow me at Adam Glynn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.